Let's move on. Let's talk David Fifita. Some drama at the Titans. He was dropped to Q Cup, and by all reports, it was because he asked the coach, Des Hasler, because he wanted to move to the left edge. That's what the story is at the moment. But then he got dropped to Q Cup. What is your take on this whole situation?
No idea.
No idea. Is that a strange thing for a player to request a switch?
Well, you can request it, and the coach says no, and you just get on with it.
You'd normally be dropped on your reaction.
Yeah.
Not the asking. A lot of players would say, can I try the other side, or I'd like to play with this player. And I remember talking to Keon Kalamatangi and Jai Arrow about which side they play, and they go, well, we want to play with Cody. So there's sometimes you want to be on the side where you get the most ball, but I think Dave just needs to pull his finger out. I think he went back to reserve grade, and someone told me his stats actually, so I couldn't tell
horrible.
you.
Yeah.
He had
Poor
about
stats,
eight or nine hit-ups for about 50-odd metres, and they got beat by the team that hasn't won a game, and they got beat by 30-odd nil. So look, David, you don't want to get to middle-aged and look back and reflect on your career and go, far out, I wish I would have done that. You don't want to live with regret. We can see he's a genetic freak. When he's on, he is one of the most, well, not one of, the most damaging player in the world.
So then how do you get the best out of him?
Once again, I don't know.
That's
I don't know if
David.
it's, I don't know. I doubt if it's a physical thing. I know he had off-season surgery, so he's got to be, I don't know if he's rock hard fit, but it's a mental thing. Just get yourself ready to rock and roll. You've got too much talent, mate, to be playing reserve grade. Should be playing Origin and playing for Australia every year. But they've got inexperienced halves. They've got to have someone there constantly barking at him, but giving David the ball in the right position. He's an explosive player. You don't go to him all the time. You only go to him when there's stuff on. And that's where David has to be responsible, not call the ball for the sake of it, but it's up to the halfback to bring him into play with the right sort of plays which gets him one-on-one. Look, I played with Adam McDougall. He was the same. We said, just go sit out there, and when you want the ball, we'll use you. Latrell Mitchell's the same. You just get out on the left, you just rest. But when you want the ball, you get the ball. And I think David's the same, but he's got to get it sorted. You don't want to waste your career, mate. You're too good a player.
Do you see him getting back into first grade then?
How old is he? He's got to be 30, don't he? 28,
No, he
29?
He'd be 28. He wouldn't be 30.
Let's have a Google.
But what happens is you only got limited positions, and if you listen to what happens at the moment, everyone talks about character.
25.
Is he 25? No, he'll kick again.
Do you think he needs to leave the Titans?
Well, he had a chance.
Well, he nearly signed with the Roosters, yeah.
Well, he did sign, didn't he?
Well, yeah, and then,
There's a young halfback up there I'm hearing amazing things about, is Zane Harrison.
I know Zane.
Do you?
His uncle was my best friend at school.
Really?
Yeah.
They reckon he's exceptional, but he's only a baby. He's 18, and you can't throw him in to a side which is struggling.
He's a bit like Young Weaver. Young Weaver was a bit of a star coming through. He got knocked out last week.
Yeah.
But Zane's a good player. He can mostly play a couple of positions.
And
he's
a nugget, yeah.
Yeah, he'll get bigger. His dad's a pretty decent-sized bloke. And, he's a real talent.
But the Titans need to find stability in their spine. They still don't know this. Played Jaden Campbell at halfback. He's back this week. As I said, Weaver's out.
Kieran
and the Brimson. We don't know where Brimson is and where he's playing 14.
He's got to do more.
Yeah.
Do you see Des under pressure, or do you?
He probably will be, but I can't understand why. Des, we know, has won premierships. He got the Bulldogs to grand finals. He can coach. The responsibility's got to come on the players. Players, get it done. Last weekend against the Dogs, they were in the game. They couldn't kick a goal for one. What did Brian Kelly kick?
One from five
or something? Mate, it's a big part of the game. He ought to go up by sixes. At one stage, there was I think it ended 6 tries to 5. But they're just playing patches. You see patches, they're exciting, and then they score great tries, and the next thing they just drop balls off the kickoff. You're just like, what are you doing? Bad miss.
Look at that.
You can't be missing tackles like that.
That's bad miss.
Bad miss.
It'd be a really interesting mental battle.
Clocked off on the inside. Keep your legs moving.
For someone
you can't be missing them in NRL.
Like David Fifita, when you are dropped back to Q Cup or reserve grade, knowing, that you've been this sort of star that a lot of people have talked about. And it often is the response that you get from the players. Like you look at Lockie Galvin, who was dropped back to reserve grade just a few weeks ago, and you go out and have a good game, and you never know what's going to come around the corner. Freddie, you were dropped
I
at
was
one
dropped.
point in your career.
I was dropped. It was during the time of daylight saving change. I got my clock wrong. So anyway, I'm getting a phone call as my alarm clock's going off. And they just said, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting ready for training. You're an hour late. So I turned up, Gus went to see, mate.
Did you play Reggie?
So I played Reggie's first half and just tried too hard. Like, things didn't go well. I come in at half time and Jeff Gerard goes, I go off to first grade. So I went back and played first grade.
So reserve,
I actually got dropped from reserve grade.
Didn't want you.